Hi, I'm Lois Denham. I live in Australia in the Goldfields region of Victoria, and I'm the last of the three Australians to join the Pleiades group and international collaboration. My other two friends live in Canberra, some 7 hours northeast drive from where I live. At first I was reluctant to join the group because I thought the distances and an inability to see each other regularly would make the collaboration too difficult. However, my friend Estelle persuaded me to give it a go. And so I decided after some deliberation that I would join the group if they'd accept me. When I was given the star Maya, I thought it was meant to be because my mother was the oldest of seven sisters and she really liked the Pleiades cluster because it had lots of memories and associations for her. My mother died over nearly 20 years ago, so this is really special for me. My installation has been inspired by the Australian Aboriginal Dreamtime teachings associated with the Pleiades cluster. In particular, the story Seven Sisters Aralki, as told by Arente elder and artist Kathleen Kamari Wallace. Transculturally, though, in my work, Maya comes from Greek mythology. And in this work, she is looking down from the sky as her sisters leave the earth to escape the pursuit of the trickster and lustful Orion and to join her in the Pleiades cluster in the sky. Collaborating across two states and countries has been a challenge. However, it's been a wonderful experience, very stimulating and very inspiring. It has pushed my artistic practice in ways I never would have managed. I'm really glad I joined the group and I'm looking forward to meeting my American sisters in Lawrence in August.
Hi, I'm Diana Dunkley, a member of the Pleiades Project International Collaboration. Many a night I saw the Pleiades rising through the mellow shade, glitter like a swarm of fireflies tangled in a silver braid. This is from a poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson, and it gives me goosebumps every time I read it. First of all, I've always been fascinated and enthralled by the night sky, and am totally fascinated by the Pleiades Open Star Cluster. They're such an object of celestial beauty, inspiring cultures all over our planet to sanctify and memorialize them. This made the idea of an international collaboration based on the Pleiades a natural progression. Our collaboration has been going on for almost 5 years now, and it is the source of constant inspiration and creatively stimulating dialogue for the seven of us. The collaborative process itself can be challenging, but it also has an artistically validating and rewarding experience. There has to be a give and take, an ebb and flow among the artists, a certain amount of selflessness, without sacrificing each individual's personal artistic vision. Technology today has greatly facilitated the 7 collaborators being able to work together since we live on opposite sides of the earth. We are able to communicate our thoughts, ideas, images, and questions as though we lived next door. This has allowed the flow that is so crucial for successful collaborations. This does not discount, however, how wonderful it will be when we all can come together for the first time in person to create our installation and break bread. I'm really looking forward to it.
I met Diana playing Words with Friends. After some time of slowly getting to know each other, Diana suggested we do an art collaboration. I was very reluctant because I was such a part-time artist. I wouldn't even call myself an artist, rather someone who did crafty things. But as the saying goes, nothing ventured, nothing gained. This could be the most amazing journey ever. We started very simply with a piece that was going to be a round robin, which was great because I didn't have to create something completely. This suited me. Then we wrote poems doing a line each, and then I got into it, letting go of my inhibitions. I am so glad I said yes to this project. I have since been over to Kansas and met everyone, and they made me feel so at home. I have extended my art further than I would ever have, and have met people I would never have met. The story of the Pleiades is very complex, and many different cultures have different stories or myths about the 7 stars. The Aboriginals believe the 7 sisters from the Napajara clan were being pursued by a man disguised as a serpent, that in that pursuit they were separated into 2 groups. I believe this collaboration brought the 7 sisters back together. It has been a life-changing event for me, and I look forward to many more projects with my star sisters.
Artists frequently work by themselves as the masters of their creations. Their perspective and approach is contained within their own taste and personality. Several years ago, an artist block slammed me frozen, trapped by repetitive style and use of materials. I was stuck and had no volition to create. The artist block crumbled by participating in several creativity groups, allowing me to expand my views, explore new materials, resources, and techniques. Prescribed dates of completing projects flung me into the mode of doing rather than fretting and procrastinating. I set aside the self-doubt and allowed myself to rejoice into action. My action is only a part of the whole group output. Letting go of what I think I want is extremely difficult. When I release my wants and open up to other people's input, the return is a treasure trove of so much more than my own ideas. I joined the Pleiades Project without any knowledge about this beautiful star cluster. A group of people far and near shot me to the stars with endless wonder and possibilities. I hope this collaborative project sparks a new thought, nugget of knowledge, or new path to journey down, because I so love the stars.
Many a night I saw the Pleiades rising through the mellow shade, glitter like a swarm of fireflies tangled in a silver braid.
I am Alcyone, the biggest and brightest of the 7 sisters of the Pleiades, never to be confused with the lost Pleiad, as are many of my sisters who wax and wane in their brightness. I will burn steadily bright, to honor respect among all things known and unknown in the universe, for many billions of times to come.
The great and burning star, immeasurably old, immeasurably far, surging forth its silver flame through eternity, Alcyone. The gray dawn and the Pleiades before him danced, shedding sweet influence.
Inner dialogue of Asteropy, Steropy 1
and Steropy 2.
I am Steropy 1.
I am Steropy 2. We both make up a Steropy.
2 aspects of one entity.
1 aspect of 2 entities.
A duality. Scientific inquiry has given our aspect more dimensions.
Scientific imaging has uncovered unforeseen sisters.
Our light reaches Earth in 440 years.
It seems as though it is there at once.
Life makes a stark contrast to the reality of the stars.
Life and light are intertwined. Reality is but a dream.
It was the hour when the Pleiades appeared in the firmament like the folds of a silken sash variously decked with gems.
This is Maia, Pleiades' 4th brightest star, located in a nebula, shimmering, sparkling and searching to commune with sister stars and brother moons, breathing blue beams to the universe and worldwide, from dusk to dawn at your side.
Behold here before your very feet are your Virgili. Of that constellation they are the offspring.
Hello, Star Sisters. My name is Merope. My name means to turn away. Merope was the only star to have married a mortal, and often was referred to as the Lost Pleiades because she was the last to be found. Best wishes for a happy and productive new year, my Star Sisters.
The Pleiades, Altair, Venus, the stars most admirable. If only there were no shooting stars to come visiting us at night.
I am Electra, third brightest star sister. My glowing amber being shines brightly from within. Grieving forever deeply after the destruction of Troy, I may not be easily found, but the love for my gleaming sisters is always wrapped around them. They are my eternal universe.
The ground was as if strewn with pieces of enamel, and rows of Pleiades seemed to hang on the branches of the trees.
I, Tayegeda, am forced to hide from Zeus's advances. Dim star that I am, you think Zeus would take a shining to my 6 brighter sisters. My dear friend Artemis aided into my disappearance by camouflaging me into a hind, a red doe. While Zeus got me anyway while in a state of unconsciousness. This is why I have my son, Lacedaemon. Some legends state that I hung myself in shame, but nope, I had another son. My life would be severely devalued without the love and guidance of my friends, my sons, and most of all the animal kingdom. It took a village to help me live a full and healthy life. I, Tayegeda, mistress of the animals, thrives with these beautiful souls, keeping me protected from gods like Zeus.
The moon, Artemis, finds solace in our frequent reunions.
I am Seleno. Sparkling eddies swirl around me like a rotary dial on a princess phone. I become detached before I have a destination in my sights. As I shine on in a cloud of stardust, the glittery spirals of energy render me invisible. I am not lost, yet I can no longer distinguish myself from the shroud.
It is important to remember most of what we think we know is only speculation. Not a mighty space holds all, and they themselves are dim to see.
Yogi Berra said, you find a fork in the road, take it. Yes, that is what That is what my philosophy is. I'm already on kind of a wacky path, have been forever, and whenever I see a fork in the road, it gets me daydreaming about, ooh, wonder what's down that road, and what's around that next corner. Oh, looky over there, wonder what's under that rock. Look at that hill, let's see what's on the other side of it. You take the fork. And part of that is because I'm spontaneous. I like to be spontaneous. It's very precious to me to kind of be in the moment and go from 1 minute to the next. Trying, of course, to link them all together on my wacky path. Music is also very important to me, and I was listening to Jimi Hendrix, as I love to do, and one of his lyrics in Purple Haze is, "Excuse me while I kiss the sky." It's always been a favorite of mine, and that inspired me to do my self-portrait. Celano is a quote-unquote lost sister in the Pleiades Star Cluster, and she resides in the stardust, in a shroud of stardust. So what better way to honor that than to put her in a haze of purple net. So spontaneity and music. Then there's also the internet, and Diana and Peta were playing Words with Friends across the globe, thousands of miles, under the same sky, on the same earth, and what a better collaborative piece than that.
Hi, I'm Estelle Anderson from Canberra, the national capital of Australia. My installation is titled Celestial Nesting. It talks to our desire to float in serenity amongst beauty and the best of our memories. It explores our early desires to merge ourselves into the cavernous night sky. The softness of the organza and netting transcends the required strength to rock harmoniously in celestial heights. Nesting in comfort and brightness, a felt doll made many years ago defines the space to be secure and gaze skywards. Memories drift around in the form of variously coloured hand-stitched netting that encaptures treasured small belongings now shared. Thank you to my Pleiades sisters, and especially Peta, who invited me to join a wonderful collaboration. This unique, enriching experience is out of this world.
I am Margaret Rose, one of 7 members of Pleiades Project. The Pleiades are an ancient and future sisterhood in timeless formation. This tiny constellation of 7 stars that are visible to the human eye are 400 light years away and have inspired civilizations to rhapsodize. They have been a point of departure for exploration, research, and wonderment. They light a path to creative endeavor. We now know that the Pleiades Nebula contains hundreds, maybe thousands of our sisters. The same cosmic forces that created the Pleiades rained sisters to Earth. By looking to the stars, it helps me see how all of nature is one, how Earth is like a cell or a molecule in the solar system and in the galaxy, in the universe and continuum of time. All creation is related. Earth is an integral being with the sun and the moon and the stars. The Earth contains and sustains all life on it with the help of the sun. It reminds me that Earth today is in precarious balance, and to be mindful before I acquire new stuff and use more resources. My component and installation to the Stars with Collaboration is titled Cosmic Rain. In the 1920s, my grandfather made a painting about how the Earth was seeded with life from asteroids. There are naked women raining down from space that represent the cosmic particles that fell to the Earth once upon a time and from which all life is evolved. His use of a human form also represents a spiritual element, the goddess, plus the aesthetic element of beauty. I am combining grandfather's vision with my intent and an artistic media for my installation component, Cosmic Rain. I am also using recovered and repurposed artifacts and materials to represent the cosmic rain which seeded life, beauty, and spirit on Earth and in the universe.
Electra, a story retold. A ring of roses, a pocket full of posies, a tissue, we all fall down. Faster and faster the sisters spun, giggling and laughing, hair flying, their faces pink. The garden became a green blur with spots of rosy red. The crow watched from high in the tree, not perturbed. He had seen this before. He had heard about these games. His yellow eyes glinted in the late afternoon sun. Now the sisters were getting tired, and it was harder to get up to dance again. They lay for a while in the long grass, now squashed flat. Their hands were partly intertwined, and they looked up to the dimming blue sky. The daisies in their hair had fallen like scattered stars, and they reached out to pop them back again. All agreed, just one more swirl. And then the elders suggested to do it 7 times for 7 sisters, and they all shouted in agreement. The crow cocked his head as they started. His clawed feet grasped the narrow branch more firmly as he peered down. His feathered cloak shone like black satin. The dancing ring gathered momentum. Each girl whirled in her own dizzying orbit. The laughter blended to a long scream. Suddenly they all spun out into one long exhausted line, tumbling and falling into rolling heaps of dresses and flying shoes. Each sat up and gasped for air. Giggling still, they crawled back to form a lazy circle, daisies now scattered everywhere. All agreed that was the best fall ever. But now there only seemed to be 6 of them. 6? They looked around, whispering and daring their sister to come out of hiding. "Electra! Electra!" they began to cry out. They looked up to the tree. They only saw the leaves, now gold, in the setting sun. The crow flew high with no effort. Electra struggled, but could not free herself from his massive claws. She begged to be freed. The crows spoke. "Look down. What do you see?" Horrified, Electra rasped, "My sisters, my home, My town, it is burning. Yes, said the crow. Now look ahead. A new day will start soon. Ring, ring the roses of
Dear Mutti, I call my mother Mutti. Thinking of you as I go about my daily chores, I hear your voice and feel your being. There is a communion there, a sharing of memories and stories and events over time and space. We have our stories and then we are part of many other stories that build relationships across time and space. Presently, this building of relationships is happening with my Pleiades art group. When I became a member of this group, I was allocated the star Maya, a star in the Pleiades cluster. According to Greek legends, Maya was the oldest of 7 sisters. When I discovered this, I thought, what a coincidence. My star being the oldest of 7 sisters, just as you were. The Greeks gave names to all the 7 sisters, and each sister had a story associated with her. Remember the story she told me about being the oldest of 7 sisters. In the Greek legends, Maya has been described as the most beautiful of the 7 nymph daughters of Atlas and Pleione. She was the mother of Hermes by Zeus and has been referred to as the Great One, the Mother Nurse, the Grandmother. When I read the descriptions of her, I couldn't help thinking of how many of them also describe you. They certainly don't describe me. You are a great grandmother too. You were loved by all of your 25 grandchildren. They remember with delight the birthday cards you used to send them with some dollar notes attached and the Christmas gifts you gave them. Now you have 47 great-grandchildren, varying in ages from 1 year to 25. So you have more in common with Maya as time goes by. I recall the stories you told me about being one of 7 sisters. On several occasions you related how soon after you became a 7th sister, when your 6th sister Irmgard was born, a relative, or was it a family friend, showed you where in the sky the 7 sisters' stars rose. Just like the Pleiades sisters, you were told that you were one of 7 sisters, and it made you feel very special. You went on to say after the birth, your father brought and planted a 7 sisters rose. It grew so profusely it covered the rainwater tank at the side of your house. Since then, the tiny yellow rose has been a favourite of yours. Did you say that it grew so well because it was planted on Irmgard's placenta, or did I make that up?
I don't think so.
Do you remember how delighted you were to see that bush laden with creamy yellow roses climbing over the neighbour's shed and into our yard in our first house in the Blue Mountains? That was the spring after Matthew was born. You know, many cultures, including the Australian Aborigines, have stories associated with the 7 Sisters cluster. Its appearance in the sky marks the equinoxes, a calendar in the sky before calendars existed. It has been used to indicate when to plant crops, collect seeds, and even when to say a where. I feel sure that the heavenly calendar was used by our ancestors. How beautifully the stars connect us across time and place. The past and present have continuity. I feel that strongly with you. As Dogen Zenji Yuji wrote, every being that exists in the entire world is linked together as moments of time. And at the same time, they exist as individual moments of time, because all moments are time being. They are your time being. So goodbye for the time being. With love and affection, your youngest daughter, Lois.
The Myth of Alcyone by Diana Dunkley. Many a night I saw the Pleiades rising through the mellow shade, glitter like a swarm of fireflies tangled in a silver braid. An excerpt from Locksley Hall by Alfred Lord Tennyson. I am Alcyone, the biggest and brightest of the seven sisters of the Pleiades, never to be confused with the lost Pleiad, as are many of my sisters who wax and wane in their brightness. I will burn steadily bright to honor respect among all things, known and unknown in the universe for many billions of times to come. The great and burning star, immeasurably old, immeasurably far, surging forth its silver flame through eternity, Alcyone, by Archibald Lampman. The gray dawn and the Pleiades before him danced, shedding sweet influence. Milne, describing the creation. My tiny sister Asterope is a binary star and displays cooperative duality. Her dreamy contemplations of life and light garner my utmost respect. It was the hour when the Pleiades appeared in the firmament like the folds of a silken sash variously decked with gems. Amir al-Khai's contribution to the Mu'allaqat. My eldest sister, Maya, said to be the most beautiful of us seven, today is only the fourth brightest of all of us clustered together. She is the eldest, but I am the brightest and the natural leader, which sometimes causes a competitive edge to our relationship. There is certainly more than enough room in the sky for all of us, and many, many more. Behold, here before your very feet are your Virgili. Of that constellation they are the offspring. This is Pliny describing glowworms. My youngest sister, Merope, shrouded and hazy in the thickest part of the nebula, married Sisyphus, a cursed mortal. Because she hides shyly at times, she has been called the lost Pleiad. I find her sweet and vulnerable. The Pleiades, Altair, Venus, the stars most admirable. If only there were no shooting stars to come visiting us at night. This is a passage in section 254 of the Pillow Book by Say Shonigan. My sister Electra, mother of the founder of Troy, grieves forever for the lost son and city. There is nothing I can do but hold her and try to console her in her sadness, although her love does shine brightly through her tears. The ground was strewn with pieces of enamel and rows of Pleiades hung from the branches of the trees. An excerpt from Sadi's Gulistan, the Rose Garden. Ah, my sister Tayegida, Artemis's enthusiastic handmaiden and companion. Forced to be an unwilling participant in another of Zeus's sexual ploys, I celebrate your resilience and the wisdom that gives you your earthy connection with community in the animal kingdom. The moon, Artemis, finds solace in our frequent reunions as she meets with our sister group on occasion as we travel through the skies. Finally, I come to my sister Seleno. She was the first to have my lover Poseidon, and I battle with feelings of rivalry. I much prefer to have our shared love interest establish a sense of camaraderie. It is important to remember most of what we think we know is only speculation. Not a mighty space holds all, and they themselves are dim to see, Eratos said of my sisters and me. And now a poem called Home by William Stafford. Our father owned a star, and by its light we lived in Father's house and slept at night. The tragedy of life, like death and war, were faces looking in at our front door. But finally all came in from near and far. You can't believe in locks and own a star.
Legend has it that the Pleiades star systems were separated by a serpent. This is the Aboriginal belief. And that two ladies brought all the star sisters back together again. It was unintentional in the beginning, but the outcome was spectacular. There were two ladies that started a friendship in a slightly unusual way. They met while playing a game similar to Scrabble online. These two ladies played words with friends against each other for months without any contact. Then one day one of them asked the other what the weather was like where they were. Warm. They must live on the other side of the world, I thought to myself. It was a very shy relationship to start, and both felt a little uncomfortable. In an era where people start relationships in this way all the time, for individuals a little older, or should I say middle-aged, it was not common, and therefore they didn't know what to expect or what might be on the other end. They continued to ask about the weather and commented on their choice of words and scores until one day one of them asked the other what they did for a job. This opened up a conversation a little more. One lady lived in America, Lawrence, Kansas. The other lady lived in Canberra, Australia. What are the chances that these two ladies would start this connection and start this relationship? Bit by bit, their relationship grew. They swapped one of their art pieces. They talked about lots of things, their families, their lives, everything. Then one day they got the gumption to Skype each other. It was so weird but great. Then, now friends, they came up with a great idea to start an art collaboration. Let's do it on the Pleiades star system. One lady was very sceptical, being the part-time artist, very part-time, was reluctant, but nothing tried, nothing gained. Little did she know that she would be working with some real live artists that sell their art for money. But what an adventure they were going to have. There were 7 stars in the Pleiades system, and they are known as the 7 sisters. They chose 3 friends from America and 2 friends from Australia to partake in their collaboration. They brainstormed as to what they would do and were all allocated a star. They wrote poems, created artwork by collaboration and portraits of themselves. This process took over 5 years and led them to where they are today, having an exhibition in Lawrence in America. It is believed that if these 2 ladies didn't start talking while playing a game online, the 7 sisters would never have reunited.
Alone, alienated, feeling marginalized by the world around you. Come to the Uniter Fest to find your place in the world by celebrating differences and universal similarities. Experience all kinds of dances, knowledge, perspectives, foods, and music from all around the world. Diana, promoter of world peace, invites you to join her and her Pleiades Star Sisters Alcyone, the queen who wards off evil, and Sterope, the double star with nicknames like Sunface. Come to the top of Mount Hiagetus throughout the month of November, where the Pleiades Star Cluster shines from dusk till dawn, visible to all of humanity. Uniter Fest, a place to be accepted no matter who you are. Come to the Uniter Fest, and let's make a healthier global community.
I am Seleno, one of 7 sisters flung into the Pleiades Star Cluster located in the constellation of Taurus. As I shine on in a cloud of stardust, the glittery spirals of energy render me invisible. Sparkling eddies swirl around me like the rotary dial on a princess phone. I become distracted before I have a destination in my sights, and some may say I am lost. I'm not lost.
yet I can no longer distinguish myself from the shroud.
This is a myth of Asterope, as told by M. Rose in 2018. Inner dialogue of Asterope, Asterope 1 and Asterope 2. I am Asterope 1. I am Asterope 2. We both make up the star that is called Asterope by the ancient Greeks in the Pleiades Star Cluster. We are two aspects of one entity, one aspect of two entities, a duality. Scientific inquiry has given us Pleiades more dimensions since Galileo charted what he could see from his telescope. Scientific imaging has uncovered unforeseen sisters, some birthing planets. Our light reaches Earth in 440 years. It seems as though it is there at once. Life and light are intertwined. Reality is but a dream. Conjoined in space and time, sister, we project our light, our stories into the future, not knowing if they will be observed or decoded by sentient beings. Do wolves on Earth look into the stars and see patterns? Do birds and butterflies see us at night to navigate when they migrate? Our light travels unfathomable distances to untold worlds and sister stars. How do they perceive us? How can we perceive them? We can't experience distant stars now in the present, since their light takes thousands of years to reach us. They are projected into the future. We only see them as a faded photograph, as in the past. Sis, we know them now, since that is the present. You are present when you see them. Some of the thousands of stars Earth sees are our ancestors. You can see and be seen with our ancestors. So we represent the past, but also the present and the future. Sister, as usual, your perspective is multidimensional. Imagination is a dimension. Emotions are a dimension. Can we project emotion and imagination like we project our light? I think we might.